So here are a few example problems from Chapter 15 about investments. The ones that I've selected here will all require a journal entry to be done. So let's just take a look at them one by one here. I only picked 4, it shouldn't take too long. Deborah Technologies invested $50,000 to buy $50,000 face value, 8% 5-year municipal bonds on January 2nd, 2010. The bonds will mature on January 2nd, 2015. The bonds pay interest semi-annually on January 2nd and July 2nd every year until they mature. Based on the information provided, what will the journal entry look like for the receipt of the January 2nd, 2014 interest payment? So basically, the pertinent information here is $50,000 face value bonds, 8% rate, and semi-annual interest. So basically every single one of the semi-annual interest payments until the bonds mature are all going to look exactly the same. We are recording this in the eyes of Deborah Technologies, who invested the $50,000, so this is an investment to them. So they're basically loaning this $50,000 to a municipality who is paying them in return interest and then paying at maturity the principal of the loan back. Okay, so I picked randomly a January 2nd, 2014 payment that's within the term of the investment. So this is just going to be what any one of those interest payments would look like. So the format of that is I get cash. Okay, I record that cash as interest revenue. Interest revenue to Deborah Technologies. Okay, so now I just need to know how much cash I'm getting to record that here. So that's going to be 50,000 times not 8% because that's for the whole year, but half of that. So 50,000 times 4%. Okay, so that is going to come out to $2,000. So that would be, let me just put it in the calculation here just so you can see. 50,000 times 0.04% is 2,000. Okay, so the journal entry is debit cash for 2,000, credit interest revenue for 2,000. And of course, if I want to get super picky, I could say make sure I have the date on there and my description. Spelled wrong, but still, you get the idea. Okay, so moving on. That one's pretty simple. Green Services invests its excess cash in Creative Technologies and acquires 1,300 shares for $22.50. It should say per share, okay, not $22.50 for the full 1,300. So Green Services now owns less than 1% of Creative's voting stock. So that tells us this is definitely falls into that less than 20% category. And plans to hold the stock for 2 years. So that tells us this is going to be an available for sale security. So now, as far as the format of this goes, let me make sure I'm doing what they're asking. Which of the following? So this is the purchase of these investments is what we're recording here. So debit long-term investments available, I'll just abbreviate that, available for sale securities, and we're paying with cash, so the credit is going to be to cash. Okay, so now I just need to know how much is 1,300 times 22.50 times 22.5 gives me $29,250. Okay, so that's what goes in my long-term investment available for sales account to record the asset of this investing or invested stock and the cash that I paid for that. Okay, moving on. Maurice Corporation invested $100,000 to acquire 20,000 shares of Delta Technologies on March 1st, 2015. On July 2nd, 2015, Delta pays a cash dividend of 25 cents per share. The investment is classified as an available for sale investment. Which of the following is the correct journal entry to record the transaction on July 2nd, 2015? Okay, so the key information here. We need to know the per share amount of the dividend so that we can know how much to put in the journal entry. What's the dollar amount? Okay. As far as what the journal entry looks like, we need to know, is this less than 20% ownership? Is it 20 to 50, or is it greater than 50%? Well, they clued us into that by saying the investment is classified as an available for sale investment. This means if it's this or a trading or a available, getting tongue-tied here, a trading security, those are the two types that are in that under 20% realm. So in that realm, we just look at this as interest revenue. So we're going to have a debit to cash and a credit to interest revenue. Okay. So yeah, it's going to look a lot like this one up here that we talked about. Okay. Or I'm sorry, it shouldn't be interest revenue. It should be dividend revenue. Silly me. Okay. So how much is it? So it's just 20,000 times 25 cents times 0.25 gives us $5,000. That's how much cash we get and how much we record as dividend revenue. Finally, Aurum Services acquired 100,000 shares of Gamma Metals on January 1st, 2015. Gamma declares a cash dividend of 25 cents per share on February 15th, 2015, and pays the cash dividend on March 2nd, 2015. With the current investment, Aurum Services holds 8% of Gamma. Which of the following will be the correct journal entry for the day when the dividend payment is made? So yeah, it's going to look just a lot like what we saw up here. Okay, so again, I didn't put this in the last two, but we'll go ahead and put the date on there. It's going to be a debit to cash, credit to dividend revenue, and then we just need to know how much that is. So now instead of 20,000 like we had up here, we're going to have 100,000 times 25 cents, or in this case, that is just 1/4 of that, or $25,000. And the same for dividend revenue. Okay, so you see none of these are terribly difficult. You just got to make sure that you're looking at the information provided and drawing the correct conclusions from that. Okay.